Hi everyone. I do not know if you all are in the same place that I am in, but oh my God, do I feel like the entire world has gone off the deep end. I'm going to give you a brief little example. I have been yelled at two times at Lowe's. Want to guess why? It's simple. I got in line that had an open register. Now, all these people were in one line for one register, and there was an empty, nobody in line at another register. No line. And they started screaming at me like I was an evil person taking cuts into them. And I thought, the first time I thought, oh my God. So I told them, I said, there's no sign that says, wait here for next available teller. So the next time I went in, I noticed they were all standing in that same one line, and nobody was at the open register. And I said, y'all realize there's open register. Does anybody want to stand and go in front of me? Because I'm going to take the empty register. Why, am I stupid? Heck no. Who wants to stand in a line for 30 minutes when I can be in and out of that place in 5? And I was in and out of that place in 5. And people were screaming at me. They were calling me Karen. They were calling me this. They were calling me that. What, have we all gone crazy? I think we have. And I was in meditation and I was thinking about this, and I realized that we are so caught up in trivia, in stress. And I get it. I get it. Staying at home for a year, worrying about where our every dollar is coming from. All of these things have contributed to making our life traumatized, stressed out, and gone beyond the pale of just normal, how do we function? And some things are kind of standard. It's like standing in the register. You find a register you want, the line you want to stand in, and you stand in it. But people have gotten so bold by calling names and cussing people out and saying hurtful things that we have gotten to the point where we have forgotten what common courtesy with respect is. Now, I'm not talking, what I'm going to talk about today hasn't anything to do with how do we stop them. It's how do we deal with it for ourselves. And, I teach different things. I've been doing this work for many years. And I want to talk to you about meditation because there's kind of a break in our way of dealing with meditation. We all meditate. It's different for each one of us. Even if we are just lost in thought, or we blank out our thoughts while we're gazing out the window at somebody, doing their yard work, a neighbor doing their yard work. It's a place of emptiness where there's no judgment. Now, some of us do guided meditation, and that's fine, but that's not the ultimate goal. Guided meditation is where somebody is taking you where they want you to go. And they want you to have the experience that they want you to have. And journeying is where they provide you the opportunity to have your own experience, but there's still drumming going on or music playing in the background, because that gives our monkey mind something to think about besides just nothing, the nothingness. And that's our ultimate goal, is to get to that nothingness. The nothingness is so powerful for us because it is a beautiful space of just being. Meditation is the quieting of the mind. I'm looking down. Yes, I had to make notes today because honestly, it's been a week where the energy around me, even electronics, has been going off and going crazy. So I'm just, bear with. Anyway, we know that meditation is the quieting of the mind. Prayer is the asking for something, and meditation is the listening for the answer. And while we get to that meditative state, our vibration rises and the static between the worlds lessens. So we can attain that higher space and communicate with our spirit guide and our spirit teachers. We can sit in that quietude and connect to our higher self and maybe get more guidance from our what our higher self knows we incarnated to work on. And it's a channel through which we get truth, knowledge, and wisdom. Yeah, I know, I'm watching my notes. There's a spiritual center inside all of us. Sometimes it's called the seat of the soul. Sometimes it's called the still small voice within. Of course, I never heard it being small. Usually when I get that voice, it's quite loud. And then others still call it the light within. And that's still a really good place to be. Meditation is meant to help us to higher spiritual attainment. It's meant for us to relax into, to touch into the God source within. Now, we do that through working, creating a space, whether you light incense, whether you sit down in lotus on the floor, whether you sit on lotus in an easy chair, or whether you're sitting in an armed chair or not an armed chair, it doesn't matter. You could sit on a meditation pillow. You can even do a walking meditation where you just get in the rhythm of taking one step at a time and just focusing on taking those steps instead of all the noise that's in our brain. My mom had a really good thing. She'd tell me when my mind was going, she'd say, "Michelle, how much of that pays rent?" Well, none of it. None of it paid my bills. It didn't pay my rent. It didn't take me out to dinner. So I had to learn to quiet that space. And I had to learn to get to that quiet space. Meditation allows us to get to that space where the body can function naturally. So it still breathes. Your heart's still pumping. Your circulation is still going. You're still hearing things. Things are still happening with your body. But it is in a complete state of rest while it's awake. And this allows for both the physiological, and the psychological aspects of the body, mind, and spirit to relax and reset. It is the ultimate human experience, which allows all the human parts of the body, mind, and spirit to join in. It is the union of the mind. It is the union of us with our subconscious and our higher self. And as we grow spiritually, our vibrations rise and we become more and more aware that we are the co-creators with the creative source and with each other and each inanimate and animate object within the entire universe. So what it boils down to is that you can get into a state of mindfulness versus meditation. If you meditate and you do it, sometimes if all you can do is 3 minutes in one day, you've allowed yourself to reset in that 3-minute time frame. And mindfulness is a little different. It's being aware of the now, the moments now, what's happening now in front of you. I don't know if you remember when you were a kid, you watch a bug, and that bug just walked across the floor, and you watched it. And it didn't have any wherewithal. It didn't know you were there, wasn't concerned that you were there. It's not like a fly with a million eyes that sees you coming to swat it. It just moved, and it was in its time, and you were in your time, and you could feel the air outside and the sun on your skin, and you were breathing and you were doing everything, but your entire world was that bug. And when we get to that point of just being aware of what's happening in that moment with us now, we're not worried about, as a 5-year-old kid, you didn't worry about what happens at school tomorrow because you were dealing with just trying to get ready and get dressed and go to school today. And you didn't worry about what you were going to learn in school today because you had no responsibility in that. There was nothing you could do but go to school. Your teacher was the one who was going to walk you through all the moments of school. And we have forgotten how to be in our senses, be in our moment. We have forgotten how to not worry about what's happening out there. We have forgotten what it's like to taste our food, to smell flowers. We get older, we retire, and we go, oh, now I get time to smell the roses. But then we got to cut the roses, and we got to cut the grass, and then we got to worry about the grandkids, and we got to worry about what our kids are doing. Are they going to be able to live? Or this is going to happen over here? What's going to happen? We are so much out of our self and what we're doing that we're out here. And this is a huge thing that I've been working on for myself, because I lost my moment of being in the moment now, and I'm working to get that back. Years ago, I devised a way of doing this for myself, and I want to share it with you guys. We're moving so much on autopilot, so much through the unconsciousness, that we are too much in our head, too much in our fears, and those fears have nothing that is, none of it's valid. So if we live in that negative space, we're going to create negative, because that's all we're going to be able to see. So I'm hoping if I share these exercises with you, and we're going to do this every week for the next, I think it's 5 or 6 weeks, 5 weeks. If we do this, we're going to get to that moment. And we're going to get to that point where we actually quit worrying about everything, that we find those moments of mindfulness now instead of what's out here. And then in that mindfulness, we can actually have time to really get into a deep meditative state, which is most desirable. It is most authentic, and it will connect you to the true spirit of who you really are. So, one of the requests I have of you is, while we're working at reintroducing ourselves to the world, to our world, emotions can come up. And I want you to please, please, please take care of yourself. Talk to somebody that you trust to express your emotions. Understand that if they do come up and you blurt, that's okay. But make sure that you apologize for doing so, because it's really not fair to dump that like they did at me at Lowe's. So in that moment of time that we work at doing this, we have the ability to bring that consciousness back. So I want you to express your emotions. I want you to feel your emotions. And feel free to express your insights. You can do this by even putting your insights down at the bottom of this video through the week. I'm happy to read and respond. And the other thing I want you to do is, if you feel like it, you can keep a journal, because it will show you your progression. Just a cheap little notebook, 59 cents, nothing big. Just jot down what you're doing and how it made you feel and how much it may have changed through the week. Now, the reason I'm having you do an entire week of this is because it takes that long to break old habits. It takes longer. It takes 30 days to break a habit, 3 days to create a habit, 30 days to break it, I believe. But I want you to take the time to really have this experience, and really, because you're going to forget to do it. And so 24 hours, and then you're going to try to jet set to the next sense. But these were deliberately put into place for a reason, the way they were. So we're going to reintroduce you to your senses, okay? Your first sense that we're going to work with is taste. We mindfully put food in our mouth. No, we don't. We just put it in. We don't worry about tasting it. We're not worried about, we're watching TV, we're talking to family or friends across the table, we're reading a book, we're multitasking. And so what I really want you to do is I really want you to focus on what you're putting in your mouth. We're not eating live food half the time anymore. We're eating stuff that's been frozen for a long time, or if we do eat, we don't always eat raw, so we're not eating fresh vegetables as much as we should. We're grabbing a pizza, running home, getting people off to baseball games, or just because we had a really hard day and don't feel like cooking, or we're just too exhausted. But I want you to just experience what you're tasting. I want you to taste, is it bitter? Is it salty? Is it sweet? I'll give you an example for myself. When I went off of all wheat products, one of the things that amazed me was when I tasted, I went out off of gluten because I have full-blown celiac. So when I did this, and I cheated and I tasted bread, it was sweet and it was nasty. Don't get me wrong, I miss squishy bread. I miss the texture of bread. It's so delicious. I miss hot buttered rolls, but it doesn't taste the same anymore. It tastes sweet and it changes the food that I eat with it. So I want you to really taste your food. I want you to decide, is this something, is it alive? Is it fresh? Has it been frozen? Does hamburger that you just bought at the grocery store and made spaghetti with taste as good as hamburger you had frozen 2 weeks ago? So experiment with it. See how it tastes. See how alive it is. Try to eat it without adding a lot of seasoning, and then season it normal. So play with how you cook. One little bit has no seasoning, no salt, pepper, butter, sugar, whatever you add into your food. Try having just a little bit to the side that doesn't have anything, and then taste it with how you normally prepare it. And I'll tell you that when I was a kid, they used to say, Michelle doesn't eat vegetables because she just hates vegetables. And for my entire life, I was told I don't eat vegetables. The funny thing is that I didn't eat my mother's vegetables. When I was old enough and I could cook myself, I ate vegetables like how a restaurant, fresh, raw, because restaurants were different back then. The food was prepared daily, and it wasn't boiled to death. My mother boiled every vegetable into a soggy mess. Sorry. It was bad. And so I laughed because she never understood that I ate vegetables. I just didn't eat her vegetables. And I didn't want to tell her because she wasn't going to listen to me anyway. She couldn't hear that. So I want you to experiment with that. And then I want you to taste other things, not just your food. I want you to taste water. I want you to taste other things. Pick up a pen, put it in your mouth, taste it, see what that taste brings to you. I know this sounds really gross, but it's about reintroducing yourself to your world. When you're a little kid, you licked everything, whether you want to know it or not, but that's why kids pass around so many germs, is they taste everything's in their mouth, because that's a way to learn. That's a way to re-educate their senses to where they're living. That's a way that they work at knowing their world. Dirt goes in their mouth, those little, anything on the floor that looked good in their mouth, because they were tasty. It wasn't the fact that they were starving. We didn't starve to death. We just wanted to see what it tastes like. I remember licking a tree when I was a kid. I wanted it to look interesting. You know, the bark, how it kind of crackles, and you're looking at that big pine tree, and it smells delicious, right? And so I liked it because it was a way for me to gather information. And I didn't worry about the ramifications of, oh my God, you're going to die if you lick a tree. Of course, my mother thought I was, but aside from all of that, I didn't die. And I learned trees don't really taste that good. But I can tell you that people ate bark. Bark was a source of fiber. And we're surprised by that. We cringe at that because, of course, eating food that's been boxed and shelved for 3 years obviously is going to taste ever so much better than bark. So I want you guys to really work at bringing those taste buds back. I want you to just really focus and listen to what your body's telling you. Lick yourself. Don't lick my dogs, but you can lick your dogs if you wash them more than I wash mine. But those are the things, you know, you need to really bring that in and start reintegrating. Let go of all the stuff that's happening out here that has a play on your emotions or pulls at your stress levels. If you take 15 minutes to enjoy your food at each meal, you're going to digest your food easier. You're going to be able to, maybe heartburn won't be as bad. Maybe it'll be more enjoyable. You'll recognize I'm full a lot faster than you do if you're just mindlessly eating. I can down a box of Girl Scout Thin Mints, or I used to, in a heartbeat before I even registered that I was full, because it was all about the taste and not about savoring it. So think about it, work on it. We're going to be back next week. I will tell you that next week's video will not be live because I'll be on the road. So what I will do is I will pre-record it and I will upload it Friday morning. So you guys have a wonderful day. My heart to all of yours. Thank you for watching. Don't go beating people up at the register lines. Bye now. My heart to yours. See you later.